Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mock with your Module 1 lesson video. Been having a difficult time trying to get this recorded and uploaded, so I'm hoping this one works. But just so that you know, the notes that I'm about to go over have been copied and put onto Google Classroom. So you can download that and have that to the side, maybe like dual screen, watch the video while reading over the notes, or you can kind of kick it old school and just take the notes from the video in your own notebook if you want to do that. Or you can just print out these notes. If you have access to a printer and can just print it, you can also just do it that way. But for now, I'm just going to talk through how to do this first, task, this first objective, which is identifying a variable and then writing an equation to help solve what the variable is, right? So our example problem reads, the sum of 4 consecutive numbers is 90. Write an equation to solve that will help determine the 4 numbers. So whenever you read a problem, the first thing you should do is identify what do you know, what do you not know, okay? So for me, the words that I'm recognizing are sum, consecutive, and I kind of want to identify, kind of revisit, what does that mean, right? What is a sum? And the sum, I remember, is the answer to an addition problem. So right there, that's cluing me in that I'm going to be adding some things together, okay? The sum of 4 consecutive numbers. So those are the things I'm going to be adding together, is 4 consecutive numbers. So now I need to kind of go through my vocabulary data bank here and go, what is consecutive mean? What does that mean? All right. So consecutive is when I'm going from one to another right in order, right? So I'm going from one thing to the next right in order. I'm not skipping anything. I'm just going, from here to here to here to here, and there's no like moving around or skipping. And an example of consecutive numbers that I came up with, and this is, pretty straightforward. It's the first real consecutive number sequence that anybody knows is 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So I'm going to use this as my base as I try to explain how to write an equation to help us with this, all right? Because I'm going to go back and go 1, 2, 3, 4. These are an example of consecutive numbers. How can I use that to write an equation? All right. So now I'm going to read it again. The sum of 4 consecutive numbers is 90. That means that's what it's going to add up to, right? So the sum of 4 consecutive numbers is going to add up to 90. Now I want to write an equation that's going to help me determine what those 4 numbers are, right? So what do I not know? So after I establish what I know, whenever I'm working on a problem, I think, okay, what don't I know? What do I need to figure out? And in this case, I need to figure out what don't I know, or what is my variable? That's really what I'm trying to figure out. Like what is it that I'm trying to determine? I'm trying to figure out the numbers. And when I look at this, right, I've created this little chart down here. Okay, so I know I'm doing 4 consecutive numbers, which means, move my camera around a little bit. I'm going to have a first number, a second number, a third number, and a fourth number. And I'm going to go back and, like I said, I'm going to use this as my example. So if my first number is 1, my second number is 2, 3, and 4, I am going to make the first number my variable x. All right, that's the first number I don't know, right? Because then that's what a variable is. It replaces something that you don't know. The first thing I don't know is that first number. So that's going to be my x. And then I want to think, I don't want to do like second number is y, second number is z, second number is double x. Like that's not going to help me because I'm going to have like 4 variables in an equation, and we're just not there yet. We're not going to do that. That's going to be way too tricky. So instead, I'm going to relate everything back to the first number, right? So how do I go in my original sequence here, 1, 2, 3, 4? How do I go from 1 to 2? Well, to go from 1 to 2, I add 1. So that means if this is my first number, to get to the second number, it's just going to be 1 more than that number, one more than the starting x. Okay, so my first number is going to be x. That's going to be the expression I'm going to use for the first number. For the second number, I know because it's consecutive, it's just going to be 1 more than my starting first number. So it's going to be x plus 1. So this is going to represent the second number. So now the third number, and I'm going to go back and be like totally separate and think, okay, what can I say is the third number? The third number is going to be the first one, right? And I'm going to add 2, right? Because it's going to be plus 1, and then I have to do plus 1 again, right? To go from 2 to 3, I'm adding 1 again, which means to go from 1 to 3, I'm adding 2. To go from 1 to 4, I'm adding 3. So what I've done is I've established what is my x. X is going to be the first number. The second number is 1 more than the first number. The third number is going to be 2 more than the first number. The fourth number is going to be 3 more than the first number, right? Because I have to add 1 more time to get to the fourth number. So 1 plus 3 would give me 4, and see how that would be consecutive. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this right here, I need to take all of this and have it equal to 90, which means I'm going to write this bigger problem. I take the first number, x, and I'm going to add the second number, which is x plus 1. And then I'm going to add the third number, which is x plus 2. And then I'm going to add the fourth number, which is x plus 3. And so what I've done is I make this big equation, and it's got to equal 90, right? Because when I go back to the original problem, the sum of those consecutive numbers is 90, is meaning equals, right? Equals 90. So now I've got my equation. X plus, so the first number plus the second number plus the third number plus the fourth number is going to equal 90. So now I have to figure out, well, how many, I'm going to simplify this. So if you remember, we had a video before we left for our long break here, we talked about combining like terms. And there's a YouTube video that you can go back and find, and I did post it to Classroom in the old Math 8 classroom. But I want to combine like terms, right? So I'm going to combine all the x's. So how many x's do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 x's. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x's. And then I can combine the plus 1, the plus 2, and the plus 3, right? 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And again, that still equals 90. Now from there, I'm going to do some balancing steps, which means I'm going to subtract the 6 on both sides. So now 4x equals 84. And ran out of space here, so I brought this over here. 4x equals 84. So if 4x is equals 84, how many does 1x equal? So I have to divide both sides by 4. And when you divide 84 by 4, and you can use your handy-dandy, rusty-trusty calculator to do that, 84 divided by 4 happens to be 21. Right? So now this x is the first number, because that's what we said. Our variable x represents the first number. So the first number is 21. Boom. So I made a new chart up here. The second number is going to be 21 plus 1. The third number is 21 plus 2. The fourth number is 21 plus 3. So I have 21 plus 22 plus 23 plus 24. And when you do that addition, it in fact turns out to be 90. Now, you want to read over these notes, kind of think about what we did here, do the Khan Academy practice, and then I want you to think about how you can use this information to help figure out the challenge problem with Tina and Tina's family, siblings, okay? That's going to be the best way to think about which of the sisters should be the X, which is the one that should be the X, and then how do we write expressions for each of the other sisters. So I would say, you know, first sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister, for first sibling, second sibling, third sibling, fourth sibling. Which one's the first, and how do we figure out the rest of them? Okay? All right, I hope that helps. Remember to try to put your work together and post it by Thursday, April 9th by noon. I hope this video helped. I'll talk to you guys later.